Hey, this is Eddie from Long Island Boaters Club, and this is another edition of On Board. Today we're going to go over how to change the propeller in the C-pump in an Alpha 1 outdrive. I'm here with Tino, which is right over here. Tino's hiding from the camera. This is Tino. We're going to need a couple simple tools and some products to get this job accomplished. One of them is we're going to be draining your gear lube oil, so we're going to need new gear oil lube so we can refill that up when we're through with it. We're going to need some spline grease, so when we get it all apart we can grease it all up nice. We're going to need some screwdrivers, some sockets, and some wrenches. And of course, we're going to need the C propeller for the C pump. And the seals inside of here that we got to change as we go through it. So come on, meet to the back of the boat and let's discuss how this is going to get done. So the first thing we're going to do is we have to separate the top from the bottom to get to the C pump, which is inside. This should be done every 2 seasons. So we're going to have to drain the gear oil, which Tino already started to do that. And we're going to have to take off the drain plug on the bottom and open up the vent over there. So that's the first place I'm going to start. So simply by turning this, you may need a slap hammer to get it out. And then putting the drain underneath, we'll get to that. And we're going to open up the top part of the vent. Just like that. Now you see how it's bubbling? That's the air coming out from the bottom and the top. I'm going to get a rag to keep that clean. Now, like I said, there is 4 bolts, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, 1 in the back. And then you're going to have 1 underneath the zinc over here. Now you got to get the zinc off to get to the bolt over there. That's the first one I'm going to start with. And you're going to need a 5/16 Allen key. And it fits right in. You're going to have to feel around a little bit. Tap it in. Hold the bottom. Now this is usually the one that most people forget about when they're doing the unit because of the fact that it's hidden underneath there. And there's the bolt right over there. 9/16. Okay, that's the first bolt. Make sure you save that lock washer on every one that you put it back in. You want to make sure that seals right. You want to kind of pop this bolt up. You can try to pull it out, but it might be difficult to get back in. Now, the next difficult one you got to get to is going to be behind the engine in the back over here. Can you catch this over here? It'll be right underneath the zinc on this one. So you got to take the zinc off again. And you're just going to loosen them up. Take out those 2 bolts. There's 1. Okay, it's a 1/2 inch. It's kind of tight. So I'm going to need some leverage on it. That's going to loosen that up. Okay, that's the back bolt. There is no lock washer on it, so you don't got to worry about that. We're just going to put that on the side. Those are the 2 most difficult bolts. Now the 4 other ones are located on the side. Now I'm going to go for the side bolts. There's 2 of those on each side. I'm going to use 2 5/8 wrench. Just pretty much loosen them up and take them out. Lock washer. Make sure you don't use it. I always attach it together so that I know where they are. The other side, come over here. All right, one more time and we got it out. Okay. See if I just tap the bottom, you can see it's opening up on the sides. See it over here, it's separating. Okay, We just jiggled it out, we wiggled it open, we got it all ready to come apart. Now we're going to separate the two units. All right. This is where your shifter cable hooks up that we have to line up. This is the cable. This is where the pump is located under here. That's just a vent block. Okay, this is basically your bottom half of your outdrive on an Alpha. The C pump's located in the middle on the bottom half underneath this housing. Back here is where the shifter cable hooks up to. Goes on like this. So you'll need to have the boat in drive to put it back on so it's straight. That's drive where it's on straight. So that's the only cable you got to run, and then there's a vent hose that's got to go on here on the back. Now the water's going to go through this, and this attaches all the way up into the top housing. All right, there's a couple important things over here. One is this is where the oil comes down from the top of the drive, this little vent, and there's a seal there. You got to make sure that seal's good or you replace that seal. Okay, that's the first thing. The shafts you're going to have to lube up, and this is all going to come out the housing and everything. You're going to reuse the housing, but the fin on the inside you got to change. So there's 4 bolts here. You'll loosen up all 4. Okay, that's your propeller. Now you can see how it's worn on the housing a little bit, and it's in there, so we're going to have to pull that out. You want to make sure the housing's still good, it's not too burnt out. The rubber over there is where he caught up. I'm going to try and clean that up a little bit. Alright, so we're going to clean this up with a little emery cloth and some WD-40 just to make sure that that burnt rubber is out of there, because that's usually from the fin. And you can see how these fins are all bent. So it's better to do this out of the water than getting stuck with it, overheating your engine, and then having to pull the boat out and do it. That's the unfortunate. So we're going to clean that, and we're going to clean all this up. That's our next thing. These are your plates that's got to be separated. So these all come apart. This Allen key, really important. You want to make sure that's in there. That's what keeps the propeller spinning. It's a keyway. All right. All right, make sure you have the keyway. The keyway goes in the shaft on the back over here, and that's where the pump slides onto the fins, so that it'll spin around with the shaft when it's all hooked up. So what we got to do right now is clean all this surface over here. We separate it to 2 pieces. This is the top, that's the bottom. I keep that this way so I know which way it definitely goes.